The Q101 Morning Crew.
On Q101.
It's Brian and Kenzie on Q101, and we're talking about the guy in Indiana that they found. He was stuck in a truck for 7 days, and some Good Samaritans found him, some fishermen, and he's alive. He's recovering, but terrifying. And we're talking about those things that when you thought you were going to die in a weird situation. 312-591-8300. Kenzie, do you have anything like that, by the way, before we get back to the phones?
Right when I got my license, I drove off of the road and through a field because of oncoming traffic.
Uh-huh.
And I had to pause. Like, I had to put my hands out and be like, okay. like, because it just, you think you're going to die.
Yeah,
like, you
yeah.
know, we can hit. And it was really bad. Like, I should have not done this, but a squirrel jumped out in front of me. And I felt so worried that I moved.
Right.
Then there was traffic coming at me, so that I just floored it to get away from the traffic and not have that. I didn't want them to get in an accident either. And I drove literally through corn stalks.
Oh, my God.
And I was like, I was 16, and I'm like, okay, all right. And I turned around, I'm like, no one got in an accident, everyone kept driving.
Yeah.
I didn't die, squirrel didn't die.
That's nice.
And I just slowly backed up and got back on the road and just drove away.
I can't believe your car didn't get, all ruined from the corn.
I know. I just made it. I've always had, mini SUVs because I'm small and I need the help. So I've never had, small car. I've always been, above the ground a little bit.
It's a good selling point.
Yeah.
For those vehicles.
Yeah.
Goes to the cornfield.
Like, whoa. So a split second, but, your life, you're like, oh, my God. You're like, poor squirrel. Oh, my God, I'm going to die. And so are these poor people. Oh, my God, I'm in a cornfield. And this is all right.
Hey, fresh corn. It's like a farmer's market out here.
I went to, my hair appointment. I didn't tell anybody. Shh.
Have you ever told anybody since then?
I never told my parents.
Wow.
Because I just got my license.
Yeah.
They're going to freak out. So I'm like, I was going to keep that to myself.
That's a good move. Marco's checking in from North Riverside. Marco, ahoy.
Ahoy, guys.
What was that moment for you?
So I was 10 years old and went to Milwaukee with my grandmother to go visit some museum. And we were staying at a Holiday Inn, Days Inn type thing. And instead of taking the elevator, I was just going to take the stairwell. Well, I got locked into the stairwell. And so you could hear people that are going into their rooms and stuff. And so I'm pounding on the door. Nobody's letting me in. Nobody's coming for the cries for help. So finally, after about an hour, I'm like, I'm just going to go out the emergency exit. The fire alarms are going to sound. It's going to be a scene. I'll get in trouble, but I got to get out of here. It doesn't open.
Oof.
I was in there for 3 hours, screaming, crawling for help. Finally, when the restaurant opened, somebody from the restaurant was like, we thought we heard someone singing in the stairwell. I'm like, no, it's me, stuck.
Oh. Yeah.
My grandmother was so upset because I was gone for 3 hours. But I thought I was never going to get out of there.
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh.
That's so nuts. When you're stuck in a place like that, especially you're a little kid, it's traumatic.
Yes.
I guess in an elevator, I remember at a hotel in Myrtle Beach once. And my parents, I just went and took off.
Stuck in an elevator?
Yeah. I went to go down to the beach by myself at 10 years old, and my parents were in the hotel.
It broke?
Yeah, it just stopped and broke. You ever been stuck in an elevator before?
No.
Really?
If a bunch of people get on an elevator, though, I get off. It freaks me out. I can't do it.
You have to ride always alone?
Not alone, but when people are like, oh, we can fit one more at the, I'm like, I can't. Because I am so short, and I'm touching belly buttons, and it
Ew.
freaks me out. Because I'm like, if this gets stuck, I feel like I can't breathe.
Yeah.
And I have to I've gotten off elevators where when people are like, excuse me, I think I could just squeeze on. I'm like, I'll just leave.
I've had that happen before. I'm on an elevator, and then someone comes to get on, and they take a look at me, and then they turn and they walk out.
Yeah, they may just scare them.
Just because I'm big? Because I'm tall?
No, just be like, I don't like being crammed on an elevator. That's a claustrophobia.
It was just me alone, though, in an elevator.
Oh, well, that's a you thing then, probably.
I think Case is probably afraid of elevators. Just a guess. Case, the producer.
No, it's actually, thank you for saying that, Brian. It's actually the opposite. I'm actually perfectly normal about elevators, and part of adulthood is learning that everybody else is weird about them.
Oh.
I know people that can't touch the buttons because of the germs on them.
Yeah.
I know people that have to hop off the elevators because there's too many people on them. You know what I do when I get in the elevator?
What do you do?
I hit the button and I stand there, Brian, and
Wow.
I'm very normal about it.
I didn't know you were a man with elevators.
Yeah, who would have thought? A little masculinity for once.
For once.
Why are you so mad?
Because Brian just thinks I'm a weirdo.
Well, listen. People that listen to the show, Who's right, me or Cage?
And I've also been on an airplane before. Thank you very much.
Well, that's surprising.
That is very, very surprising. Let's head in with Double Features Mike. He has one of these stories of, brushed with death in a weird situation. Of course, Double Features do our intro song. What's up, man?
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
How you guys doing?
We're doing amazing. What's your story?
So my buddy and I had gone up to his rooftop in Chicago, and I shut the door behind. He goes, "Oh, you didn't let that shut, did you?" So we were. I go, "We'll be fine. We'll figure it out." And then it started getting really cold. We're looking at like tree branches to literally jump on, and we decided to eventually, after like 3 hours or so, we called the latest pizza place we could find that was still open. They delivered us a pizza. We gave them the code to get inside the building and came up, and we had to explain, like, you got to go up the stairs and let us off the roof.
Oh, my God. Why didn't you just call 911?
Yeah, you called a pizza guy instead of the police?
I don't know. We were hungry.
Yeah. Like 2 birds, 1 stone.
Yeah, fair.
It's a pretty solid plan. We still got pizza.
That's fair. That's
exactly.
fair. Good call.
What kind of pizza? Was it like a fast pizza? Was it, like a chain we know
I can't
about?
remember the company. It was...
I don't think they waited for deep dish, Brian.
That takes much longer.
The Q101 Morning Crew.
On Q101.
Gil Curtis comes in every morning and gives us the headlines of the day, at least the ones that he sees fit.
This is not headline news. Over 40 states are under blizzard wind and snow alerts. Right now, the country's chillier than an award show audience watching Joe Coy. Boeing saw its stock drop 8%, still not falling as quickly as chunks of their planes. Later this month, for the first time ever, self-driving cars will hit U.S. highways. And they'll also be hitting other cars. Experts say you don't have to change your underwear every day. But for the record, those experts are Kid Rock, Post Malone, and Courtney Love. And Willem Dafoe got a Walk of Fame star. He thanked casting directors who knew early in his career that he wasn't just another unpretty face. This is not headline news.
The Q101 Morning Crew.
On Q101.
The Q101 Morning Crew.
On Q101.
Got a great segue from this Shinedown song with Brian and Kenzie on Q101 into this. You hear that sound? Most people out there know what you're thinking at the moment when you hear that.
It's the sound of greatness.
It is.
It's the sound of family.
You know this song, Kenzie?
No.
There's a reason why.
I don't know. Is this a trap?
Well, it isn't. It is in a way, but there's a reason that we know why you don't know this song. It's because Kenzie's never seen The Sopranos. And this is the opening credit song on The Sopranos. The band only did this song. I think they're called A3, I believe that was their name.
Something like that,
Yeah. And I remember when Sopranos was big at Q101, when I was Sludge back in the afternoons, we played this song as like a rotation song.
Oh, really?
Because of The Sopranos. And, today is the 25th anniversary of the first episode of The Sopranos. Today, January 10th, 1999.
Wow.
Holy crap.
A month before I was born.
That's incredible. That's disturbing.
Yeah, because that was February 99.
Jeez, I'm like Art from Everclear. I hate you. We said that the case when he was in here. I found out that at 24 years old. Because I think there's a lot of different perspectives when you come to The Sopranos and think about that. I know for sure in the room I'm the only one that did this, but also listening-wise, I'm not even sure how many people can say they saw it in real time. Like, watched it. Because over the pandemic, it got huge.
Yeah, but you watched the premiere in real time or just the show in real time?
I watched the entire show in real time.
Good for you.
Because a friend of mine had clued me in and said, there's this show called The Sopranos. It's a mob-type show, but it's not typical. It's going to launch on HBO.
He's like, this was 2 years ago.
and they said, you got to watch it I've heard all about it, and it's going to, change television. And it did. The Sopranos
really did.
Absolutely 100% changed television because there was no series like this on HBO, and now we have Netflix, of course, and all that, the streaming services. There was nothing like it before. There was nothing close. It changed television, and we wouldn't have shows probably later on like Breaking Bad and The Wire eventually, and more currently, I'm trying to think of some shows that would relate. But anything you see and we binge these series, you have to start with The Sopranos and what they did.
I think it's the best show there's ever been. I know it's a lofty statement, but I can't imagine there being anything better.
I agree that it's in a top range. It's hard for me to put my mind around. My OCD will kick in and try to come up with some other ones, but it absolutely is one of the greatest shows of all time, without question.
It's an interesting experience for somebody like Kinsey who's never seen it before, because there's two versions of watching The Sopranos. There's watching it the first time all the way through, where you're discovering everything and trying to learn everybody's name. Like when you watch the first season of The Sopranos, you know Tony, and then you kind of know Paulie and Chrissy a little bit, but it's a lot of like, wait, which old Italian guy is this? There's just a lot of them. There's a lot of different people going on. And then when you watch the series all the way through, you get to the end. By the time you're at the end, you want to watch it all again and watch it the second time, third time. I've watched it 4 times all the way through. Every time is more enjoyable than the last because you know a little bit more and you're able to pick up on things. And then the humor of the show really starts to kick in the second and third times around.
Yeah, and it was wild watching.
Is it a good show if you have to watch it 4 times before the humor kicks in?
No, that's not necessarily what I was trying to say. It's just you can get distracted by sort of the darkness of it and the violence of it the first time through, and then you start to realize like, oh, Paulie Walnuts is a comedic character. Christopher Moltisanti is really, really funny at times, like the intervention scene, which I think might be the most famous Sopranos scene there is.
So good.
So you could watch that scene the first time and go, oh my God, they're having an intervention for a guy that has a serious drug problem. But then you start to let it sink in and you go, no, this is actually the funniest scene that's ever been written. Everybody has their own little quirk that makes it just otherworldly.
It's mind-boggling. I don't. Was there a reason you haven't watched it, Kenzie? Because I'm sure everybody said, oh, you haven't watched Sopranos, like that kind of thing.
Yeah. So I've never watched it. I've seen bits and pieces of it. Like I know what all the characters look like and like who's in the show and stuff.
Right.
But it's just kind of ruined because I heard like the drama of worst ending ever.
Yeah.
Which is not enticing. It's to invest in a TV show for that many seasons and know that you're going to hate how it ends.
That sucks. That's the impression that you got because people said that.
Yeah, people are really... And, I imagine The Sopranos is not like Seinfeld has one of the worst rated endings too, right?
Right.
But you're not looking for the severe wrap-up of things that I would imagine you're looking for in The Sopranos. So it's like...
Yep.
You know what I mean? So I don't like... It made it less enticing. I was going to watch it during the pandemic. Yeah. Because I'm like, okay, this is obviously a good time for one of the long shows.
Absolutely.
And I thought I was going to get everything for free, and then I found I'd only got the first episode for free. And I'm like, well, that's upsetting.
That's terrible.
I know. So I was like, cool, I could watch this. And then it was like an HBO or something like that where I could only get the first episode. And I wasn't like blown away by the first episode, which is understandable. You're setting up a lot of stuff.
Setting everything up.
So I'm like, I don't really want to spend $50 on the first season after that. Yeah. And it just never worked out for me. Yeah, no, that's a good explanation. And you know what? I disagree with people that say that. I think it's, even though I was livid with the ending, I was so angry, and I was watching it in real time. Let me take you back to that time when I had to sit there and wait a week to get the resolution of what started in the other episode. And then you get there and you have to make sure you're home because I want to watch it in real time because friends would ruin it. And I wanted to make sure I watched it. I watched it alone every Sunday night on HBO. I didn't want anybody around.
That wasn't by choice. That was the life you were living.
Actually, yeah, it pretty much was. But in that sense, Kenzie, about the people saying, oh, the ending is horrible. It's amazing that people still talk about an ending 18 years later because it was 2006, I believe, the last episode. Yeah. And then there's people that say it's horrible. There's people that say it's because it's a mystery, basically, of what happened. And I love it. That's the genius of David Chase, that people still talk about the ending. Think about all the shows you watch and just have a regular, nice, wrapped-up ending. You don't care.
No. I knew the ending going in the first time that I watched it. And so I love the ending because it's just like, it's like to Brian's point, it's like, well, we can still have that discussion of what do you think happened, and that's fun. It's great that people have different theories.
That's fun. I don't like, okay. Have you guys ever seen The Book of Eli?
I have seen that movie.
Right.
With Denzel.
Yep. I never realized, and this is nuts to me. Do you think Denzel Washington is blind?
Yes.
Yeah. I found out that apparently that's a hot take to some people.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I didn't know it was a hot take. I don't know.
And that makes me angry. Like when you can it's fine to interpret things in different ways. I hate when we can fight about the entire plot of something. I'm like, they need to tell the story better because I'm having a lot of arguments. Like that pisses me off. I don't like that.
See, I like arguing about shows and movies with the people.
Like Denzel Washington is blind in the Book of Eli.
Thank you. I agree.
And I've gotten in huge arguments like, no, he just knew how to read Braille. And I go, why would that be the plot twist? It irritates me.
See,
I don't like it.
If a show or a movie is written so well that you argue about it, I think that makes it good. That's just me, though. But you don't want an argument. You just wanted everybody
it's like
to agree.
My blood pressure.
Yeah.
I've turned down women for The Sopranos before.
Because it was on their...
What does that mean?
Well, so I
what do I mean?
Like people that like wanted to be with me. So I watched The Sopranos the first time my senior year of high school because I got into this big thing where I was afraid I hadn't seen the greatest shows of all time.
Right.
So my senior year of high school, as all popular kids do, was spent watching The Sopranos and the Larry Sanders Show. But my prom date that year was also watching The Sopranos at the same time. And so we went to prom together. I wore a red suit a la Richard Pryor at his Live at the Sunset Strip stand-up comedy taping.
Are you sure you're not 62?
I know.
Good Lord.
So I wore a red suit to prom, and then I went back to this girl's house, and I kind of knew that she liked me. So our plan was, let's go to prom for a little bit, but then we'll go back to her place and watch The Sopranos. And she took that as code for, we're going to do what normal teenagers do on prom night when we, quote-unquote, watch The Sopranos. And I stayed in her basement the entire night, just binging episode after episode, not touching her, not cuddling with her, not kissing her. I was focused on The Sopranos.
And
was she mad?
So we ended up dating later, and I didn't know that she had all these expectations where she was like, yeah, I thought you had created this great plan to get us out of there and to get us alone, and that you were finally going to tell me your true feelings. I was like, no, I never had that thought process once. I was in season 5. I want to know what was going to happen next.
I don't care if it was prom. I had to binge the rest of The Sopranos.
Yeah, exactly. What am I going to do? Kiss you? I don't want to do that.
Good
I want to watch The
Lord.
Sopranos.
I just feel like you, in a way, could have done both.
No.
Like, you could have just watched some episodes like an hour later.
Sure.
No, I can't multitask.
You want to miss a key scene.
Exactly. What am I going to do? Miss a big plot point?
Well, no,
Yeah.
but I'm saying, like, you could have done what she wanted, and then about, I'm gonna top you off at not super long. You could have then just watched The Sopranos the rest of the night.
33 seconds of this.
Yeah.
And 4 hours
That's
of
what I
this. Yeah, it would have worked out, Case.
I didn't
I
have the
would imagine
wherewithal.
you got up and got a soda. So I'm sure you would have had time to do the other thing.
Yeah, regrets. Sopranos, 25 years. It's Brian and Kenzie on Q101. And so HBO Max is celebrating with a 25th anniversary collection. There's 15 deleted Sopranos scenes that you can stream, actually starting right now. It actually started this week. So there's never been released for 5 hours behind the scenes footage of content on HBO Max. And also for Kenzie, I don't know if you want to try this. So
I don't know.
this would be easy. This would be really easy, but I don't know if it won't be good because TikTok, Warner Brothers has released every episode on TikTok in a TikTok version where they're like about 15 seconds of each episode. So it's a Cliff Notes version of every episode, a summary in a TikTok video.
They took this hour-long story-intensive drama and they turned it into 25-second TikToks to try to get the youth into The Sopranos.
I see.
And people are pissed about it too. Like
Yeah.
Sopranos fans are pissed because they feel like they're just ruining the shows because there's so much detail that's not there. You know,
I mean,
obviously.
Who cares? You can still watch it.
Yeah, well,
Like, you know what I mean?
if you watch some of the TikToks, you might get into the show that way. I don't know.
I don't know. Then I gotta pay. I already used my free episode.
Well,
I should have used it on the ending so I just know what happened.
so,
If I had known.
yeah, then you'll know better than everybody.
God.
Well, there it is. It's 25 years of The Sopranos. Brian and Kenzie on Q101.
The Q101 Morning Crew.
On Q101.
The Q101 Morning Crew.
On Q101.
It's Brian and Kenzie on Q101. And coming up, we'll have AWOL Nation, Blink-182 on the way. Want to remind you, coming up this Tuesday, I should say next Tuesday at 8 a.m. with Brian and Kenzie. Make sure you're here. That's when we start GTFO. What is that? A chance for you to win a trip to see Blink-182 in Miami. That's going to sound pretty good on Tuesday when I think it's supposed to be 4 below zero next week, right on Tuesday.
Why'd you say it like that?
Because I'd want to be in Miami when it's 4 below zero.
4 below zero.
4, did I say it very sophisticated sounding?
Yeah, like you just made that long. Like
I didn't
like
realize.
-4. I say negative.
I say below zero. Yeah.
That's long.
So you say -4 if it's like -4?
Is that wrong?
I don't
Can
know.
you say that? Like,
I
it's gonna
always
be
say-
-5 tomorrow. I would say that.
I never say negative. I say below zero.
that wrong?
What do you say, Case?
I say negative. I'm with Kenzie on this.
Really?
Yeah.
That sounds more sophisticated and official than just saying below zero.
Why?
Like
no,
4.
you said it's gonna be What did you say?
So it's going to be 4 below zero.
4 below zero. Okay.
Sounds more impactful, too, because it's like below
It takes
zero.
you a long time to get there. It's going to be 4. I'm like, oh, good. Below zero. Oh. You got to get there first.
You couldn't wait that long? God. It's terrible.
It's very misleading.
So it's going to be 4 below zero. Let me try to see what you say it. It's going to be -4 next Tuesday.
Yeah.
I feel weird saying
It's because you're so positive, Brian. You don't have that negative outlook.
Damn straight. So and be positive about winning a trip to see Blink-182 in Miami and getting the hell out of the cold. So be listening 8 a.m. Tuesday, January 16th for all the details and your chance to qualify.
The Q101 Morning Crew.
On Q101.
Brian and Kenzie, and the online bit, the viral videos have gone on for a while where this scenario is played out, where someone tells an adult or someone else that a big famous person has died, and then get their reaction and they record it just to see what happens. This might be the greatest one of all time, where a daughter tells her mom that Ozzy Osbourne died.
Oh.
I know. It sounds sad and morbid, but the reactions are funny. And this one, in the beginning of it, she doesn't tell her it's Ozzy yet. She just says, Mom, I have something to tell you, and it's pretty serious. And here's where it goes.
Oh no, someone died. Who? Someone famous. I don't want to say who it is because I don't want to.
Keith Richards. Keith Richards.
No.
Is it musician or is it actor?
Musician.
Oh, you know who died? Mick?
No, it's Ozzy, but it's like.
Why are they playing charades when they want to know, by the way?
Oh my God, who died? Who died? Mick? Keith Richards?
I didn't know they were on a first name basis. Not Mick.
The Q101 Morning Crew.
On Q101.
Brian and Kenzie on Q101 coming up here at 9. We'll get to sports and let you know if Jim Harbaugh is the new coach of your Chicago Bears. A lot going on with this activity. Coaches already being fired this week. It's always that week when they go like, okay, you're gone, you're out. But before we get there, kind of relates in a way, but I want to read, I just got a text from my wife.
Okay.
And usually around this time, I text her, say like, how's everything going? How was it taking the Harper to daycare? Everything working out okay? It's really cold today, so it was harder. And she didn't answer me for a little while. And then she said, oh, sorry. I was dead sleeping. I fell asleep back on the couch. I was dead asleep, and I had a dream about meeting Jim Harbaugh.
I bet you had a dream about doing something else with Jim Harbaugh because she's not going to include that part.
Well, and I just did WTF, question mark, exclamation point, back to her. And then she said this, in a totally innocent way, exclamation point. We were down the shore, which is the Jersey Shore where we go for vacation now and then. And she said, I went to pick up breakfast for us. And then I bumped into Jim Harbaugh. And he insisted on taking selfies with me. And he was more like his dad's age instead of his current age. And I kept saying you were going to flip out and asked if I could call you to let you know that he was hanging out with me. And that's how she ends the text to me, and a laughing emoji. That's what she just dreamed about.
Oh, I bet he was down her short. Bet he was.
Anything else you want to interpret about the dream?
I think it's bad news for you.
Is it bad news?
Oh, God, yeah.
I've turned her into a Michigan fan. She wasn't a Michigan fan. I turned her into one, and she's seeing Jim Harbaugh, and now she's dreaming about.
Fan, all right.
Yeah, now she's dreaming about Jim Harbaugh.
She's dreaming about him. It's her dream man.
Well, maybe it is.
I know.
So dreamy.
I mean, it's kind of my dream man too. But I mean, I don't want my wife dreaming about him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you ever had a dream about Jim Harbaugh?
No.
Okay.
No.
Are you sure?
If you had a dream about somebody else,
yes,
that was inappropriate, not appropriate, but inappropriate, would you ever admit that to your significant other?
I don't need to hear. I don't need. She doesn't need to know, right? She doesn't need to know that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She knows so much.
Right.
Keep a little something for yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is this something that couples share? Like, I had a dream about blah, blah, blah all the time. Because we don't really talk like this very much. And she just texted this to me. I was like,
No,
what the
I
hell?
would be like, I'll share like a funny dream or something.
Yeah.
But
Like you were a clown or something?
Funny how? Funny like a clown?
Jeez. That's not what I meant. But like,
okay.
something like weird, like I'd share.
Yeah.
I would never be like, oh.
I was hanging out
Guess
with.
who? Guess who beat it up last night? Like, you're not going to say that. That's weird.
Remember Top Gun 2, Miles Teller?
I would be mad at my husband if he told me that. Like, if he had a dream about somebody, I'd be mad.
Okay. I'm not really mad. I'm kind of confused right now.
Well, yeah, but if you knew what he did to her in the dream, you'd be mad. That's what I'm saying.
I mean, they were getting breakfast. She was getting breakfast from me and bumps into Jim Harbaugh and wants selfies with her.
Yeah, and he was like, let's not FaceTime him. I mean, he never called him. And what do you think they were doing?
Case, your girl ever tell you any dream stories like that?
No, that wouldn't bother me though. I'm very open to that sort of thing because I think it's one, kind of funny, and two, kind of interesting. But she's like a lockbox. I don't even know who her celebrity crush is. She doesn't tell me any of that sort of stuff. And we had to have a conversation about 2 months after we started dating where she goes, "Hey, I don't need to know every actress you find attractive. Not something I really need to know." And I don't ever say it with any malicious intent. I just think like, oh yeah, Kristen Bell looked awesome in that movie, and that's as far as it goes.
Yeah, but you don't get why that's like annoying. Like, we're just watching a movie.
Well, no, I don't.
Like, the point is that it's a comedy, not like, look at her hair. Like, what is wrong with that, you weirdo?
But I had to learn that because it wouldn't bother me if we were watching whatever, and she's like, man, Jonah Hill looked awesome in this movie. It's skinny Jonah Hill. If he looked awesome in this movie.
He looks good heavy, too.
He does. I like the afro.
Yeah, I like him. I like him better heavier.
But it wouldn't bother me at all, no.
Okay, so this happened to me like in high school or college. I forget. It was one of the it blended into the college. I don't remember what phase it was. We were watching the movie 300.
Yeah.
And like still found a perverted thing to say. And I go, there's 300 men with their shirt off, and I didn't say anything.
But you could have.
But like,
what did the person say about 300?
Like, so the guy wife? I was dating, talked about like how like gorgeous the wife. And I'm like, are you kidding?
There's one woman in the whole thing.
Yeah, the whole thing.
Well, she better be good looking then.
I honestly thought if there's any movie where I'll be safe to watch it, and the person I'm dating won't try to be interested in somebody else, it would be this movie, and it still happened.
The Q101 Morning Crew.
On Q101.